Live from the Carl Chevrolet Studios in West Des Moines, this is Iowa Live.
Welcome back to the program, everybody. Our pal Taylor Parker, president of Concept by Iowa Hearing, is joining us right now to talk about how important hearing is for everybody, but especially those that might be in jeopardy of having dementia. And we want to really talk about this because hearing and dementia, there's a correlation there, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. And studies, they've been around for a little over 10 years now. Johns Hopkins University, Cambridge University, Stanford University, some, world-renowned universities have this research. They've been doing it for, over 25 years. But the first data came out a little over 10 years ago talking about dementia, that even with a mild hearing loss, you're 2 to 5 times more likely to develop dementia. And you can delay or even prevent up to 40% of the cases by modifying some things in your life. There's actually 12 things you can do that can help either prevent or delay dementia cases.
Okay, so some of the things that we're talking about, cognitive load may be something that has something to do with the onset of dementia. Right?
Yeah, so when you're not getting the correct signal up to the brain actually has to pull from another area. It has to pull resources. Okay. So what it does is it pulls from cognitive and it pulls from balance and gait. So it takes those two areas and deprives them to be able to focus on hearing. Okay. Hearing is one of the most cognitive demanding activities we actually do in a given day.
Wow.
So understanding that cognitive takes a big decrease, and then balance and gait as well. Okay. Take some of the biggest decreases from our overall brain power that we're actually using, and that's then where the brain ages faster, and then that's where the link to dementia, and then onto Alzheimer's and such.
Wow. Okay, and also these are some of the things you want to pay attention to. Forgetting when never heard conversation. That's what people thought they forgot, but they never really comprehended it.
Yeah. So if you're you think you hear something, or you're trying to piece it together. So you take a sentence in context, whether you fully heard it, you're trying to piece things together. So you're, getting a partial signal and then trying to put everything together, as part of that as well.
Right, and you can see, we mentioned the physical changes that are going on here. Also, increased depression goes along with that. But there are some things that you said there, some of the modifiable risk factors, right?
So let's
talk about that.
There's 12 things you can do, and they're broken down into 3 categories: under the age of 45, 45 to 65, and 65 and above. Under the age of 45, education. So they're talking about just, when we say education is power, under the age of 45, just having good quality education is one of the first things you can do. Now, 45 to 65, this is the key part, because most individuals feel that hearing loss is a later in life thing. It's an older thing.
Right.
So 45 to 65, hearing loss, brain injury, blood pressure, alcohol, and obesity are those things you can do from age 45 to 65. And then over 65 is smoking, depression, isolation, and then pollution. And, most people think of pollution as, out and about in the community and as far as air. Wood-burning stoves actually in your home have carcinogens that actually can attribute to hearing loss.
What? Say that again.
Yeah, so
air pollution can contribute?
Yes, so air pollution as a whole, but then also just wood-burning stoves in your own home can contribute to that as well. And then physical activity and diabetes. Now, out of all 12 of those, what do you think is the number one thing you can do to help offset?
And we haven't practiced this at all.
We have not.
Get your hearing.
Hearing loss is the number one thing you can do, and it's also between the ages of 45 and 65. So that's not an older thing.
No.
So that's the number one thing you can do out of all 12, and it's the number one thing you can do between the age of 45 and 65.
All right, so and obviously we know where you're going to go to get this corrected, because we're talking about instruments. We're not just talking about amplifiers. We're talking about things that really work.
True, actual hearing devices that
right.
You're going to the optician, getting eyes done, it's ears, you're actually getting specific devices programmed specifically to your hearing loss at whatever frequency you need.
Now let's talk about the decrease in and the impact hearing can have on dementia. This number is powerful. I want you to pay attention to this.
Yeah, so properly treating your hearing loss can reduce dementia symptoms by up to 75%.
75%, everybody.
And also it can prevent or delay by, these modifiables can prevent or delay up to 40% of the dementia cases. So there's true power in this data data. It's not like we're going to move the needle 2 to 3%. We're talking up to 75%,
wow,
and then up to 40% in the actual cases. So, you know, treating your hearing loss is very, very important. Not only, you know, at some point in your life, but doing it when it actually matters.
All right, now,
at the age of 45, 65 is huge.
Let's get your hearing checked. Let's get it corrected. Easiest way to get a hold of you.
Easiest way to get a hold of us is to go to iowahearing.com or call us at 866-648-9008.
Okay, there's the number, 866-648-9008, iowahearing.com. That's the website that you'll see pop up when you go to that website, and there's locations all across the state of Iowa, conveniently located, so please take advantage of that.
Yes, best thing you can do.
All right, thank you so much.
Great to see you.
You've given us a ton of information. We really do appreciate it, and we do appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us today. We'll see you tomorrow on Iowa Live.